I've been curious how the art of war applies to Splatoon strategy. I want to read it and document my thoughts. I'm going to start with Chapter 1, and I'm going to give any comments I have on each passage I see to be relevant. Sun Tzu first describes in Passage 4 how war is governed by 5 factors, which he describes as follows. 1. The moral law. 2. Heaven. 3. Earth. 4. The commander. And 5. Method and discipline. In passages 5 and 6, the moral law causes the people to be in complete accord with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of their lives, undismayed by any danger. While a specific ruler can't be pinpointed in most circumstances when it comes to Splatoon, you must think of the ruler in purely metaphoric senses. What are your goals when you are playing Splatoon? That is your ruler. If ranking up is your goal, then you must be able to do what it takes to do that, even if you have to do something drastic like changing your whole playstyle. You must be willing to change and adapt for the ruler. In Passage 7, heaven signifies night and day, cold and heat, times and seasons. This can very directly translate to map and game mode rotations. Your weapon and gear loadouts, as well as your playstyles, may be different for, say, Humpback Pump Track on Rainmaker than it would be for Moray Towers on Clam Blitz. In Passage 8, Earth comprises distances great and small, danger and security, open ground and narrow passes, the chances of life and death. And this would refer to features of the map. Where can you ink? Where can you not ink? Which walls can you climb? Where are the highest points? Where on the map can you get to? How can you get to those places? What are the advantages and disadvantages of being in those places? In Passage 9, the commander stands for the virtues of wisdom, sincerely, benevolence, courage, and strictness. And that would be you, the player. Maybe a team captain if you have one, but you should work to inhabit these qualities. In Passage 10, by method and discipline are to be understood the marshalling of the army in its proper subdivisions, the graduation of rank among the officers, the maintenance of roads by which supplies may reach the army, and the control of military expenditure. This could be translated to refer to your skill, but it seems to me to be more like game sense. How much ink do you have? How much of the map do you control? Who's alive? Etc. I will include a link to a video on game sense by YouTuber SpectreSaru in the video's description. Sun Tzu goes on to give a list of questions that he claims the answers to can determine who will win a war. Major considerations he gave are skill and army composition. Are your players better at a given mode than the enemy? And who has the best balanced weapon and gear set? In Passage 17, according as circumstances are favorable, one should modify one's plans. For example, you typically play as a Slayer, but in a match, you see that your teammates are doing a good job killing the enemy, but are constantly dying. You need to provide a good anchoring for your team. It's up to you to make these adjustments. Passage 18. All warfare is based on deception. Splatoon is no exception. What does the enemy know about you, and how do you subvert that knowledge? They know where you have inked, your weapon, how many people on your team are respawning, what your team wants. If you have been hit, the other team can see you on the map, and many other things I can't think of right now. Game sense. Also, remember the reverse applies. Everything you can know about the enemy can know about you. It's never advantageous to be less knowledgeable than your opponent. The following passages are just good advice for deception, and I will summarize, recontextualize, and come up with my own ideas as follows. Think of what your enemy is trying to do and force them to do something else. Do your opponent stand around the zone? Throw bombs there. Create random paths of ink that go nowhere so your enemy goes on a wild goose chase looking for you. Are you chasing someone? Don't move how they would expect. Is someone chasing you? Bring them to a place where you have the upper hand. Hide, run away, do whatever it takes to not die. You can't push the objective if you're dead. This chapter was all about deception. It's the concept of knowing what both you and your opponent know. My recommendation, and what I have learned from this chapter, is to learn more about Splatoon. Know how the weapons work, know how the maps work, know the game mechanics. Understand that your opponent can know these things as well. Predict what your opponent will do, and try to be unpredictable.